Andy Burnham is pursuing a classic two-track strategy. Track 1 is delivery in Greater Manchester to prove governing competence. Track 2 is building a soft left platform inside Labour that contrasts with Keir Starmer's current approach to welfare, wealth and devolution. Both tracks now converge on a single question that hangs over Liverpool this month. Is Burnham preparing a credible route back to Westminster and, in time, a leadership bid? Burnham's aim is to anchor Labour to a first-place social democracy that is visibly pro-work, pro-skills and pro-service standards, while reopening questions the leadership has parked on welfare and wealth. His mechanism is to show results in Manchester and then translate that record into national authority, and that is why his new network, Mainstream, has been set up. It calls for wealth taxes, nationalising key utilities, and scrapping the two-child cap. This is not coy positioning. It is soft left manifesto in waiting. Burnham has already influenced Labour internal dynamics. His early and public backing of Lucy Powell in the deputy leadership race matters for 3 reasons. First, it signals that the North wants a stronger voice in the top team. Second, it gives Burnham a partnering ally who could sit on the NEC. And third, it forces number 10 to fight a contest it didn't plan to fight. Powell is one of only 2 finalists, and her pitch is about culture change at the centre. And even if she loses, Burnham has shaped the ballot and framed the debate. That is power. And it follows the same trajectory as, for example, Eddie Rama in Tirana, from Tirana to Prime Minister. Boris Johnson in London, from London to Prime Minister. Burnham's strongest card is delivery that voters can see, the B network. Integrated transport with a single brand and visible standards uplift is simple politics done well. He pairs that with a local skills revolution. The Greater Manchester Baccalaureate, linked to 7 sector gateways and a 45-day work placement ambition for every young person who wants one. This is a concrete answer to kids who feel school doesn't connect to jobs, and it is a rebuttal to the complaint that Labour only does university talk. The policy is consistent across multiple forums: mayoral announcements, select committee evidence and think tank speeches. On substance, Burnham dissents on 3 fronts. Firstly, welfare and poverty. He's criticised the recent squeeze and argues for flexibility inside the fiscal rules when shocks hit low-income households. That aligns with his mainstream demand to end the 2-child cap. 2, wealth and partnership. He backs taxes on wealth and supports bringing utilities into public ownership. That draws a bright line with Treasury caution. And thirdly, he wants more control, more local control over skills, planning and taxes, and has called for a wholesale change in the architecture of the British state to make devolution real. This is about devolution and state reform. This is the spine of his Institute for Government argument. Politically, the contrast between Burnham and Starmer has been sharpened by a poor fortnight for number 10. The Mandelson saga and the mishandled Rayner exit have fed a story of drift and weak party management, which of course Burnham is exploiting. Burnham has not wasted the moment. By elevating Powell and by launching Mainstream now, he is telling MPs that there is an alternative voice that listens and includes. So the route back, is that bridge actually built for him? There are 3 hurdles between a mayoral office and a leadership ballot. First, and most importantly, is a seat. He cannot stand while serving as mayor and is due to continue serving as mayor until 2028. So that would need a by-election or for him to step down. Westminster gossip focuses on Manchester seats in a tactical logic of pairing a Powell move with a Burnham move. Even talk of that possibility shows his leverage. The deputy leader sits on the NEC, so if Powell wins, Burnham's path through internal selections becomes less treacherous. If she loses, his network must do the hard organising itself. And the risk-on moment is after a poor showing in the May locals in England, Scotland and Wales. If Labour looks brittle, the party will shop for a storyteller with delivery credentials, and Burnham is openly setting out his stall now. So, to go back to the Boris Johnson and Eddie Rama connections, Boris moved from City Hall to number 10 with a simple offer: visible projects, cultural clout, and a talent for defining the weather. Whatever one thinks of his record, the route worked because he converted mayoral visibility into national myth. Burnham is attempting a higher policy version of that conversion, with delivery metrics rather than stunts. Eddie Rama, in Albania, Eddie Rama used Tirana as a canvas for renewal, then scaled the aesthetic and the message to lead Albania. Burnham's B network and M-back serve a similar rhetorical role. They are tangible symbols that travel well. The point is not just competence, it is narrative. If you want a clear pathway, a clear image of who Burnham is most like, it is Eddie Rama. What Burnham actually wants to change if he wins the argument is also quite clear. He's got 4 major focuses: on child poverty, to scrap the 2-child benefit cap and to tilt welfare to dignity and inclusion, to shift some tax income from accumulated wealth and put core utilities on a public footing with enforceable service standards, to roll out a national MBAC style track with guaranteed work placements, not only academic routes, and to feed in this idea of a new devolution with formal powers for skills and transport at city level, at city region level, plus a funding model that rewards long-term outcomes, not annual bids. And these are all positions he and his allies have already argued in public, and the emphasis is coherence. There are risks, there are counter moves. The cynicism risk engineers a by-election, looks opportunistic and hands reform, an attack line that, among other things, if he quits his Manchester job before 2028, the line will be that he can't finish, that he can't be bothered to do the job that he stood for. Mainstream is a motley crew by design, keeping Milibandites, blue Labourites and ex-Momentum figures on a single message will be tough. And the wealth tax, so the treasury headwinds of the wealth tax and the public ownership plans face fiscal, legal and market constraints. He will need clean costings and a sequencing plan to push his ideas forward. And if Starmer accelerates devolution, improves party management and lands a visible success on a cost of living issue, Burnham's momentum cools fast. The deputy race itself is a test of that response. So there are things to watch out for in the next 8 weeks. First of all, does Burnham sharpen his lines on wealth and welfare in speeches, or he keeps a unifying tone while others brief for him? The deputy leadership vote and the discussion around that Powell's messaging, and where the Starmer's team overreaches, the shape of that contest will show whether Burnham's pressure can force cultural change at the centre. And any concrete Treasury GM deals on skills or transport that let Burnham claim another visible win again will be a positive for Burnham. My judgment is that Burnham is not merely kite flying. He is stress testing Labour's internal coalition and building a credible policy offer that stands on delivery, not vibes. The mainstream platform gives him ideological clarity. The M-back and the B network give him proof of concept. His intervention in the deputy race gives him organisational reach. If Starmer stabilises, Burnham becomes a powerful internal reformer. If Starmer stumbles again, Burnham becomes the most plausible replacement because he can say 3 clean words that matter to elections. I have delivered. He can also say that he is not tarred with the dirt in Westminster. That is strategy, that is the route, and that is why the Mayor of Greater Manchester is suddenly the most watched figure outside number 10.